good evening and welcome to this edition of the EPL and Bermudian Overseas Players Show here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Jason Juggling J and Antoine Augustus. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, guys.
Antoine, are you there? Your audio, it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, okay. So while you sort that out, let's run down the results from the English Premier Division this past weekend, including the match that just finished maybe half hour ago. It was Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester City 0, Liverpool 3, Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 1, Ipswich Town 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2, Fulham 1, Brentford 0, Aston Villa 1, Wolves 1, Everton 1, Tottenham Hotspurs 2, Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 1, Leicester City 0, Manchester United 1, Arsenal 1, and the match that just finished at the London Stadium, it was West Ham 0, Newcastle 1. Well, Jay, Manchester City's season got a little worse this weekend as they went down 1-0. There was a lot of talk before the game about one of their players out partying, spending a whole pile of money in a club after their Champions League game and so forth. And, you know, they're not having the season that anybody in that clubhouse would have wanted them to or even dreamt they would have.
Well, first things first, Earl, I'll say it again. For the folks who might hear it for the first time in their life, winning hides a lot of dumbness that goes on inside of a locker room, right?
Sure.
and when you're not winning, all of a sudden now, those things that you were doing and getting away with, they are a grave concern.
Mm-hmm.
That type of stuff that happens off the field and nightlife, all of that is a culture that is set. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
And
right.
unfortunately, sometimes some players need it, and they will tell you that they need it. And we know some players in history, and locally too, need that nightlife to perform.
Mm-hmm.
But for most players, and coaches would love for everybody to be on a curfew and being at a certain time. We know how this works. But we know in any camp, any training, there's always somebody that's willing to break a risk. So these stories, it baffles me because it's really a non-story for me.
Right.
It really is.
Right. But they made it a big issue because he was spending money and the team was losing, and they're saying that he should have gone home after the game and not been out celebrating like they won the FA Cup. But that's to each his own. I mean,
he could say he's trying to get rid of his stress.
Yeah, he's human too.
Yes.
Let me just see, Antoine. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. We're reflecting on the Manchester City player that prior to the weekend game, there was a lot of talk about him in a nightclub partying, spending a whole pile of money, and a lot of people were upset that he was partying like they had won the FA Cup when they actually indeed lost. And the manager was asked about his players and off the field antics and so forth. And it's one of those things. Is the fans go out after the game? Why can't a player go out after the game?
I hear you. And good thing that we're talking about this because I also heard something about it as well. One of the pundits said it as well. Says he says, what about this? What happens if because it's Greenish, because it's Greenish, what would have happened if it was Marcus Rashford? What if it would have happened to, I'm gonna just say, a black player? Would this black player be recommended? Would he not be playing? Would he be sitting out the next game? You and like I said, I'm glad that we're talking about this because yes, I wanted to ask that question to you guys. Yes, because it's Green of yes, City did lose, but if it was Rashford, if it was you know another black player,
Mm.
would it this same scenario be a good scenario?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to get to another scenario as well. In your game yesterday, everybody in the stadium would have been shocked when Arteta brought on a fullback to play striker and left and left a striker sitting on the bench.
who is garning £300,000 a week
Yeah,
plus.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, when you start looking at the scenarios and you're seeing, okay, he hasn't scored, but he is a prolific goal scorer. He hasn't scored in your system. He's created a few goals in your system, but that is a career embarrassment if you
yeah,
think about it.
yeah. This
But
we're talking.
even though these two situations are different,
Uh
they do have some correlation, right?
yes.
We're,
Mhm.
we're, we're fans, or in this instance, we're fans thinking about it, right? The last incidents, we're talking about fans complaining, right?
Hmm.
We haven't heard what the team has said in
Right,
either one
right.
of these situations, right?
Yeah.
And this is the thing as fans, we are fanatic. We want, like I said, we want these guys to be the best players 24 hours around the clock. No, it's a job for them too. So after 8 hours, they're like they can go do something that's 16 hours on their own time, right?
Right, right, right.
Reality. Fans too, but you're not going for work and you want to go to the pub or you want to go somewhere else, ain't nobody questioning you.
Yeah, yeah,
My thing is, if going back to the culture, if it was a culture set that the team was able to do things like this on the off days or the free time,
yeah.
why are we having these conversations
Right.
with regards to Sterling? None of us knew what the situation with his training,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
the physical side is can he even play
Right.
90? Can he play 60?
He
I
looked
mean, does he have
disappointed in the
enough?
camera. He looked disappointed in the cameraman, dude. That's for
Well,
sure.
well, but of course you're gonna feel that way. But every player that's on the bench wants to get on the field.
Once
I
you
don't
get
care
on the
who it
field,
is.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
but being started, this is not the first time this has happened. It happened last week. You
Well,
know,
but it
it
also happened to him at Liverpool too. So it
yeah,
ain't like
yeah.
it's
It's not like I woke up this morning and he's not playing Sunday. It's
yeah.
like you said, it's been happening these past few weeks. Yep, you hit, what was it? I think it was in Liverpool. Was it that one of Arsenal player got sent off, and Arteta just looked at him but didn't give him the acknowledge. You know, he needed a goal scorer, but Arteta just sit down. They're not coming in. You know, so,
I mean,
Um,
it could be and Earl, it can be the coach just falling out of favor with him, saying, you know what,
right, 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 right.
this guy's done me wrong too many times. I just for contract's sake, I just can't wait for him to disappear.
Ah,
uh,
mm,
So,
mm,
it's-
and another thing that we forgot about too. Remember incentives, right?
yeah.
Remember these players get to a certain
The
they play a
add-ons.
certain amount of games, they
Yeah,
get bonuses and stuff
those are
like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. The add-ons. Yeah, yeah.
uh, $1,000 goal.
We don't have I can't make a decision. We don't have all the information on that, you
Right,
know.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you both because it was your you two's team. Your earner was on, or one of your earners was on interview today, and just saying that some of the players are overpaid, and some of the players are just not good enough to be in the Manchester United outfit. Your thoughts. Let me start with you, Juggler.
Close your eyes, remove the name, remove the team, and you hear that in every team.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what's the difference?
The big,
The market reflects the pay,
Yes.
right? So I thought every owner, wish they could play less for a player. True or
Yeah.
false?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Every player wants to get paid more than the last player. True
Yeah.
or false?
Yeah.
So injuries also. Nobody ever talks about injuries. How injuries affect players,
Mm.
right? So of course, I as a fan, I say the same thing.
Yeah.
If you talk to any United fan right now and just say list off the team name and how many guys you're willing to keep for next year, I guarantee it ain't many.
Right.
But you cannot replace 16 people on a team in a
No.
year.
But he named off 5 guys right away. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
you can name them off, but also guess what? If they're under contract, you got to pay them off.
You're stuck paying. Yeah, you're
You got
stuck.
to pay them off. You're still
Yeah,
paying Ten Hag. You're still paying a lot of players that are going already. You know,
that's right. Yeah, remember, they're still paying part of Rashford's salary. They're still paying part of what's his name?
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah, they're still paying part of that. But he did say, if United didn't make the changes they're making, they'll be broke by the end of the year, by the end of the season. Now, that what's your thoughts, Antoine? What's your thoughts on the 5,000 people that protested yesterday before the game about getting the Glazers out?
Again.
Yeah.
The Glazers blaze the ball lady top from 12 yards out.
No.
Okay.
But 31s that write the checks. 31s that not well in Glazers, they're not writing the checks. They're taking the money out of the club.
Yep.
The people I'm writing the check, but they're taking my money and leaving and going to the States. You see what I'm saying? So I listened to Sir Jim's interview as well right before we came on.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Neville asked him, how why are you being the umbrella for the Glazers? Why are you? Because he's basically saying that at the game, everybody was attacking him, like the fans were attacking him. Because like you saw the clip, I don't know if you saw a clip. He got out of his car. Jim Sargent got out of his car, and they booed him.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
His taking the blunt of the Glazers, and that's the thing. He said Glazers are not even in England.
Nope.
Glazers are back in the States. So why I don't get it. I really don't get it. Why they just can't just automatically leave?
Okay, so let me ask you this question. You say that they're taking the money to the States. What money haven't they spent?
Oh, plenty. Plenty.
Well, if you look at the salaries of some of these players,
Hold on. But Earl, that's just one part of earning a team is player salary.
I understand that.
It was a total embarrassment to see water gushing through Old Trafford, right?
Oh yeah,
that hasn't been refurbished, and that's why they're talking about trying to refurbish. The Ronaldo, going back as far as Ronaldo, talked to how bad the training facilities were back then, right? That it still hasn't been upgraded, and still they envy other teams' training facilities more than they ever they prefer to Carrington and even Old Trafford. So it's not just player salaries, but it's a lot of things around the club, and then now you on top of that. What's going on over the last month as far as the cutbacks, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's lunch room and all these different other things.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, ticket prices and everything going up.
Yeah.
So the player salaries, once again, that's dictated by the market. It's the other stuff that has been a major disappointment by the Glazers.
Look, if you look at Tampa Bay, because they're part of Tampa Bay. I don't know if we remember talking about this. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
Look at that 5-star stadium and look at Old Trafford.
Yep.
Well,
Look at that complex, and look at
it's
like
taken after the name. It's old and it's traffic.
oh
It's
oh
old.
traffic.
Yeah, old traffic.
But Tampa Bay Buccaneers is new.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, Tom Brady,
They're trying to win the
Tom
Super
Brady's
Bowl.
money. Tom Brady's money came from Old Trafford.
Hey, look, if,
How
if not closer to
you
winning the
did
Super
like,
Bowl,
hey.
not closer to winning the Super Bowl than you are winning the Champions League.
Well, not until they start doing that type of stuff. Remember
Yeah.
that one influx, and they got him Tom Brady. When Tom Brady left, are they close to getting to the Super Bowl? No.
No, well, but they got there. They got
Well,
there.
They
once
won.
again, because with the influx of the money, you're right.
Yeah. Well, they should have done an open bus parade at Royal Manchester.
But even the two styles of running Tampa Bay, and it was reported, I want to say about a few weeks ago, the difference of even cross promoting and stuff like that. The lack of it when they do it on the Manchester side, and the overabundance how they do it on the Tampa Bay side,
Right.
as far as bringing teams to the club, bringing special guests, all these different things. So as fans, but once again, the internet is undefeated. The more information they get, with the lack of
Yep.
accountability, people are
Correct.
going to be left to speculate.
Yeah.
Correct.
True. Well, let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll pick up this conversation and see where we can take it from here. We'll be hold on a sec. We'll be right. Where are we to?
It's
We'll
the
be
other
right.
button.
Huh?
It's the other button.
Just putting down a weapon.
You seeing this?
Better juice starts with better ingredients. That's why Wonder Juices are 100% organic and cold pressed to lock in the best nutrients, flavors, and benefits. Whether you choose Wonder Lemon, Wonder Melon, or the Power Packed Wonder Shot, you're getting real fresh ingredients in every sip. Find your Wonder at Lindo's, supplied by John Barrett & Sons. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, digital is proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Am I on? Hold on.
Hello?
There you go.
We're here. And welcome back. Sorry. I'm having trouble seeing these things. But anyway. let's look at the North, the Liverpool Southampton game. Southampton coming to the game, bottom of the table, playing the top of the table. Every pundit out there, everybody was thinking this is going to be a cakewalk for a team like Liverpool. But they go in at halftime, down 1-0, and they took 2 penalties in the second half and a goal from open play to overcome a stubborn Southampton team. And as we know, Liverpool play PSG tomorrow night in the second leg of their Champions League round of 16, and then they have the cup final against Newcastle on Sunday. So Juggler, you're the Liverpool manager. What's your what's your comments at halftime? First of all, after the first half display against Southampton.
Very, very simple. Settle down. Settle down. You know what they'll do. They're playing a low block. Settle down. Move the ball quickly, side to side, and put pressure on them. Eventually, they're going to crack. Pressure bust pipes. It's simple. You saw the same. You saw the same thing even in the United and Arsenal game. We'll talk about that later. But the fact is that when you're playing against a more superior team, you know what the game plan is going to be. You know what it is. Everybody can play a low block, and you have to break it down.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Salazar scored 27 goals this year. The amazing thing is 9 of them come from the penalty spot.
Yeah.
Which that would actually be tied for the second most goals in Liverpool just off the penalty kicks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's saying that they put enough pressure on teams that cutting in or whatever, where the teams have to do something, right? Sometimes it's a late challenge or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, this is something. A win is a win, and at this time, 3 more points. That's all you want. You don't care how ugly it is.
Right.
I tell you before, to be a champion in a league like this, a good 30 games are going to be ugly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. A bottom of the table clash. Antoine, Crystal Palace edged Ipswich 1-0. Obviously, well, I say a bottom of the table clash, but not really.
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace good season, but edging Ipswich Town. Obviously, Ipswich is in a deep hole, trying to work their way out of it, and to lose 1-0 is almost for them right now. It's almost like losing 10-0.
So and the Crystal Palace, like you said, Crystal Palace is in the top half of the bracket.
Yeah.
And Ipswich right now, honestly, Ipswich, Leicester City, and Southampton, they're just basically trying to stop the bleeding. We know 2 out of them 3 will be going down. I'm gonna give one team one benefit of the doubt, but 2 out of them 3 teams is going down. So Ipswich right now, they're trying to survive. They want to survive. Yes, they have the same points as Leicester City, but and I think the next team above them is 5 or 6 points ahead of them.
Yeah.
That can change in a heartbeat. As we know, English football league can change on a dime. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool. Nobody knew Liverpool would be down 1-0 at the half to the bottom team.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, I think if I was Ipswich coach, I would take that as a plus. Just 1-0, I take that as a plus. Ipswich they have given top level teams a run for the money this season. They'll give Liverpool, they give Chelsea, they give Manchester United, they give Tottenham, they give everybody a run for the money. So Crystal Palace, and it was at Crystal Palace. So I would take that to go back home and continue to build on it.
Yeah.
I mean, to just add on to what Antoine just said, over the last 2.5 months, they basically had 3 bad games, right? And one of the games you just mentioned against Liverpool, they lost 4-1. against Man City. They lost 6-0, and then I'll get to the other team. But for playing Fulham, they drew Fulham back in early January. Beat Bristol Rovers. Lost to Brighton 2-0. The February, they even had a better month in February where they played everybody pretty tough. They only lost to Southampton 2-1. Drew Aston Villa 1-1. Tottenham, they lost 4-1. Manchester United, they played us tough. That was 3-2, right? Last week, remember last week, in the FA Cup, it took Nottingham Forest to penalties.
Yeah.
So they've played well. There's just scoring. They're having trouble putting the ball in the back of the young net.
Yeah.
And they sound like Manchester United. They sound like they probably have a better record in the month of February than Manchester United. So, you know.
Mm.
And they both had the same problem.
Yeah,
Who could score the ball?
Yeah. Well, Juggler, now that you're talking about struggles, let's talk a little bit about Tottenham. Came from 2-0 down at home to draw with Bournemouth. But good Lord, you never know what you're going to get with a Tottenham team, don't you?
I'll tell you that in the last 3 to 4 weeks. If you look at the table, what 3 teams are bunched up together? Tottenham, United, West Ham United. You could throw a blanket over all of them and just guess who's going to win.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're going to get on the day. As good as United may have played yesterday, this week they can get swept off the field.
Yeah.
Or they can win the next game 3-0. Like, if you just don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. So true.
And Tottenham is no different than that. No.
I mean, when they went down 2-0, I mean, people were ready to leave. Yeah. Literally ready to leave. Did you see the first goal that they got?
No, I actually missed that game.
Okay, well, if I could describe it in any way, I want you to go and have a look to see it, but it was an intended cross that sliced off the boot, hit the back post, and went in. Caught the goalkeeper off his line.
That's how they got scored on, or that's how they scored?
That's how they scored that first. Tottenham scored that first goal. The guy was getting on the right side, cut in a little bit, looked up to cross the ball to the striker, but the ball sliced off the outside of his boot. The goalkeeper anticipating the cross, so he came off the line a little bit, but realized too late that the ball was
looping over
the net. And in the end, it was a great goal. But the look on his face, even the guy that took that scored it, the look on his face when he turned around to go back to the halfway line was like, okay, all right, we'll take that one.
At least start getting luck like that.
But it was amazing. And then obviously Chelsea edging Leicester City 1-0.
That was a struggle. That was a struggle.
Palmer hasn't scored in several weeks, and they actually pushed him forward to take the penalty.
But you know what? It was so funny, Earl. I was chatting when I was watching that game. I was on the phone with a Chelsea person, right? And their TV, their feed was faster than mine, so they saw the penalty choke before I did. And the first thing he said, "This is a Chelsea person." First thing they said, "That's not a penalty." That's not a penalty.
Right.
And then when he saw them pushing Cole Palmer, because Palmer normally scores all the penalties. He's gonna miss this one. And sure enough, he goes up here and the penalty gets saved.
Yep.
And his first thing he said, that's the football gods because it shouldn't have been allowed in the first place.
Definitely.
It's Chelsea struggling too.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, they're struggling, and they've got their players back because they were missing quite a few players, but a lot of their players are back now. But you know what one of the biggest problems is lack of game time.
Well, the good thing with them is when you talk about the inconsistency of Manchester City and Newcastle and even Brighton over the last 2 months.
Mm.
So they're still in that fifth place, which now everything now is basically from ninth to fifth place. Who's gonna make Champion League
Right. Yeah.
qualifications next year, right? Because it's so close.
Yeah.
From Chelsea at 49 points all the way down to Fulham, who has Bournemouth have 44.
Mm-hmm.
That's only 5 points separating those teams
Yeah. Without
with
a doubt.
approximately some of them 10
Games
games, but
left.
9 to 10 games left.
Yeah. 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 Antoine, Newcastle today gave themselves a big boost heading into the cup final with Liverpool. They beat West Ham on the road 1-0. So they would be full of confidence going up against Liverpool on Sunday after this performance after the result today. What's your thoughts?
His pop back out.
Yeah, his popped back out. Yeah.
I still think Earl they're missing, and I know they missing Gordon.
Yeah.
Gordon does so much for them. And it frees up Isaac a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because he makes room for Isaac and he takes on the double,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not to say that the replacements are not as good, but he does so much for that team, especially with his speed.
Right.
And we know that's one of the things that Liverpool struggle with: fast wingers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially both the fullbacks, and which causes one of their center halves to come over. And once you start pulling Konate out of the middle or Van Dijk out of the middle,
Yeah.
they are very. You can open them up. You can open them up. So, but like you said, who knows? It might all. Remember, this is probably the first final in how many years, Earl? Come on.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So the hype around it, that might even burn them out.
Yeah.
Liverpool could say they've been there, done that for a cup final,
Right.
But for someone like Newcastle, none of these players have, they haven't raised the cup
Yeah.
in a big tournament.
Right.
Yeah, I won't say big, but it is the Carabao Cup, but still.
Believe it or not, this cup final is a lot at stake for Newcastle because it could guarantee them European football right away.
Yes.
Anything for Liverpool.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It guarantees you at least Europa.
Yeah.
So if you get that monkey off your back, and then the rest of the season, if Newcastle win it, then they're comfortable. They could go through the rest of the season knowing, hey, look, we have this already, but let's get a bonus and get into Champions League.
Yeah. It's a lot to play for. It's a lot to play for.
And the financial part of it as well. I mean, you get into Europe, it's a big injection in funding.
So this is what sometimes people fans don't realize. You say that, right? There's a big injection of money, right? So that means what would you like to see happen there when you have a big injection of money? You want them spending on players, right?
Yeah.
So now you're talking about bring in players.
Right.
What do you do with the players that got you there?
Yeah.
Right? And that's where, always saying, as much as people say play for the badge.
Yeah, right. Well, that you don't have that too much of that anymore. The funds now have kind of taken, because every kid grows up supporting the club.
Yep.
And they always say, oh, eventually I'll play for my club. But if the money is right to go and play for your rival, you're going to play for your rival, boss.
AKA Sterling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to find a couple of clubs in London he hasn't played for yet.
You can go back as far as Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Loved Everton to the bone. Manchester United knocked on that door.
But hey, at least he went outside of London, right?
Well, yeah.
Sterling has played with everybody in London.
Not like he ran across the street to Liverpool. I don't think he'd have survived that.
Exactly. That's my point. But mind, Sterling didn't grow up there, right? But still, that's
Right.
that. But like you said, that's football, right? That is football.
Yeah.
But when I say that, because when you look at he came on today, striker Wilson, right?
Yes.
Even Willock and even Longstaff. These guys have been with Newcastle for some years.
Yeah.
For some years. But they're struggling to make the 11.
Right.
Harvey Barnes, another one. He not mine. His cross today was the setup for the goal.
Right.
But he's struggling to make because he took Gordon's place.
Right.
He's struggling to make the side. So when you look at there's 4 players that have been instrumental of the success of Newcastle over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right. Well, now
I'm pretty sure
get 90
at
minutes
least
amongst themselves.
2 of them might be out because these guys are probably on bigger wages.
Right.
And that you can't have these guys on these huge wages sitting.
The bench. Yeah.
You know, so that's why, like you said, it's gonna mean so much for them because this might be their only chance.
Right.
To play in a cup final at this level.
Yeah.
So it's
a World Cup.
yeah. I mean, better word for these guys. Yeah.
Well, let's turn our attention back to that Arsenal Manchester United game, because
real quick today. What you think about the Newcastle goal? It's going to be. I'm pretty sure there'll be some ref talk about it the next day.
There'll be a lot of ref talk about it tomorrow. It should have been disallowed for the foul.
Okay.
Clearly, it was Isaac's pushing the back.
Yeah.
Took the defender off from heading the ball, or making a better attempt at heading the ball. You know, where the referee was, I watched it over. They showed it from the ground level where the referee was. He could have been blinded by the defender that was there, but you know, to ignore it and not. I can't remember. Did they go to the VAR? Did they?
Nope.
No.
I don't remember them going to the VAR.
That's where a lot of the questions will come because the buzzer for VAR should have gone off.
That there you go. That's if you have it.
The defender ended up on the floor.
If you have it, use it.
Use it. Yeah. If it's gonna make your job better, use it.
Well, we just need the correct call.
Yeah.
And because they wasn't referred to it, the VR doesn't come into play.
Yeah.
I would think because it is the goal scoring opportunity. So
right.
That's my thing. Any goal scoring opportunity, those things need to be looked at.
Yeah.
We're going to the United and Arsenal game. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of talk about 11 and a half yards. Come on. But going into the game, you've said it over and over and over. United are looking for a goal scorer. Arsenal right now are looking for a goal scorer. Every week you hear, every time they interview Arteta, they're talking about, oh, you didn't buy a striker in the transfer window. Do you think it was a mistake? And do you think it was a mistake? What's your thoughts? I mean, they've got key injuries to guys that they thought would carry the club. But what's your thoughts on Arsenal and the situation they find themselves in?
To be honest with you, it's the system that these teams are playing, right? And it's not over probably the past 4 or 5 years. United has been a better team as a counter-attack team, right?
Right.
And we could probably go as far as back as Mourinho, right? Setting up a low block, frustrate teams, and try to nick one at the end, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal struggles against teams that have a low block.
Right.
They are more when they open up, fast-paced, good on the wing, Saka doing what it's got to do, cutting in, bang, score, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they set up, Arsenal's midfield is not as creative to break down teams that have a low block. And that's why you see United's actually had a better run against the top table teams this season because they come into the game and say, look, we're trying to nick one. And the teams have trouble breaking them down. And unless you have some creativity in your midfield, that's what's going to happen. So if the players that are missing, right? Besides soccer, right?
Yeah.
When you look at Jesus and a lot of these other, they were struggling to score too.
Yeah.
So would they have really made a difference today? I mean, yesterday with the low block, no, somebody like Saka or a real influential midfielder,
Mm.
right? And there you go. Who scored the goal for Arsenal? The midfielder,
Yeah. Oh, right.
Declan,
Yeah.
Declan Rice.
Yeah. From the edge of the box.
And I say that because guess what? That's the same situation with United.
Right.
They
Yeah.
can't get Fernandez is scoring the goals, right?
Yeah.
That's a
Midfield.
problem. That's a
Yeah.
problem because don't get me wrong. What was surprising, and I say surprising, United had enough chance to win the game
Right.
in the second half.
Hmm.
So I mean, Arsenal's more of a disappointment because they're vying to try to at least keep Liverpool honest. I won't say they're gonna get to them, but no, that's going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with all the players that they do have, and it's so-called success during the league over the last couple of seasons, the last time Arsenal won a cup was the FA back in 2000,
Mm.
2020, 5 years ago. So now you start to question, are we going to get better or are we going to get worse anytime soon? Because, I mean, 1-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Right.
if they don't win nothing this year, will you think even if they come second, that's them making Champions League, you think that's gonna be a success for Arsenal?
Oh no. Well, let me ask you this question: how much more time do you give Arteta?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Now, you saw today that Sir in that interview, Sir Radcliffe has given, and I don't know if that's a death kiss, right? his back hammering, right?
Yeah, it's back to coach. Yeah.
But you know what happens when that happens, right?
Oh yeah, what you do? Yeah. But you say it. No, you just said publicly, thank you, but you gotta go. and believe it or not, he even indicated over the weekend that he don't know how long he's gonna have.
Well,
so he's feeling depressed.
So with the Arteta situation, once again, it's all about expectations.
Right.
What did the board have? Was the expectations when they brought Arteta in? Was there a timeline? Was there, some coaches say they need 3 to 5 years, or they need X amount of budget, or they, For the most part, Arsenal, from the outside looking in, the management has given what he wanted, right?
Yeah.
Remember, they made that big deal for Declan Rice. They got him for him.
Yeah.
Yes, they needed strikers. They brought in Jesus and the other guys, So, they're working now. Obviously, can't get everybody that you want.
Right.
They've solidified the center halves with Saliba and Timber and Gabriel.
Right.
Their goalkeeper, that was a big problem for them about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Between the guy Leno and Raya, and then they chose to keep Raya, and he kept him in the game yesterday. So the expectations. What do you think? What the problems they're going to have with Arteta? What do they think they can get? Arteta could get out of these bunch of players going forward.
Yeah.
Because even coming into the season, Kai Havertz was remember Kai Havertz scored a lot of goals for you last year, and he's not a goal scorer.
Right.
So I don't know if him coaching under Pep, especially not having an outright striker, and having false nines, thinking that he can manage it.
Right.
I don't know if that's played into his theory or not, but yeah, I don't know. He will be under fire if they don't win nothing. Ooh.
Yeah.
I've seen coaches being fired for less. I can tell you that.
Right. Yeah. And I think the fan base is now starting to say how much more time do we give him? He's got us to the bridesmaid how many times?
Well, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's so easy to get rid of a coach than get rid of 8-9 players, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where they're going to struggle. I mean, let me hold on. And even when I looked at, so first thing you do when your team plays, the first thing you do that all before you can't wait to see what's the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
What's the lineup?
Yeah.
So you look at the 11. Okay, that's the 11. Oh, who's on the bench?
Who's on the bench? Yeah.
And when you look at United's bench,
different.
and I'm looking at, okay, who's that again?
Mm-hmm.
And let me go research the under 23s. The under, okay, that's where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now look at Arsenal's bench. Hold on. You almost got another team.
Yep.
That could literally start, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tierney, Nato, Martinelli, Zinchenko, Jorginho. Feel like he ain't played in a while.
Right.
Sterling, Dubai, Lewis, Skelly. He's been playing quite often. Ben White.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to me, Harrison, Amass, Fletcher, Morehouse, Heaven, which I think United's found a gem, and actually Heaven was on Arsenal's bench last year when they played.
Right.
Arsenal and Obi Martin.
Mm.
They got rid of that youngsters to United, and they actually made that bench.
Yeah.
So yeah, and to be honest with you, that might be with the fans too, right?
Right.
You give up your rivals, some of our best young players.
Right. That come back and haunt you.
Come back and haunt you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Now, what are you still thinking about Nottingham Forest?
A season to remember for them.
Because we keep expecting them to fall off, haven't we?
Yeah. And they just won't. They haven't as of yet.
Yeah. They just won't go away, will they?
No, not at all. Not
as prolific as the Leicester when Leicester won this title,
right.
but in saying that, looking at what they've done is just remarkable.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'll tell you what, it's going to be very difficult for them to replicate what they've done this season, next season. It's going to be very difficult for them.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Just think they've won just as many games as Arsenal, 15. Just as many.
Wow.
So they're probably at least +6 or +7.
What they thought they would have been, what they were last year.
Exactly. If the coach doesn't get at least nominated for Coach of the Year, I don't know what is. What would do?
Yeah. So true.
Because there's no really big signings to.
That's right. Yeah. His work with what he had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now the only good thing with that, and you probably see what happens. The only good thing is that they're not in Champions League, right?
Right. And that's what I was indicating last week, that with United, if they don't make Champions League, if they don't make Europa, it's an opportunity for them to concentrate and rebuild for 1 year, and build that program back up. That's
where I think they'll keep Emery, just because to change a system, you need training, you need practice time, right? Yeah. And that will give them. Remember, he even came in after the break,
right?
So he still really hasn't had any real training on the practice field, right? Mm-hmm. Some people could say international breaks, but guess what? Where does your best players go?
All of them leave.
So
his work with the reserves.
Yeah, but then you can see why some of these young players are playing good for United, right? Yeah, because it's actually having time to work with them. So it's gonna be interesting just looking at the standings.
Yeah. Well, let's take another commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna take a look at the Bermuda players and coaches from this weekend. We'll be right back.
Over the pink sands, beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tailed fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been Chalice proudly Bermudians, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudians. Digital is proudly Bermudians. Digital is proudly Bermudians.
They're just putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
This year, Lindo's is making it easier than ever to shop your weight with our brand new Drop It website coming to you on January 6th. Fresh groceries, convenient delivery, and now an upgraded online shopping experience. Whether you're planning meals or restocking your pantry, enjoy fast, reliable service wherever you are on the island. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, Jay, a quick look at the Bermuda players overseas. We had Nicky Wells, once again, not in the Bristol City squad that drew 1-1 with Hull City on Saturday. And again, he's not in the Bristol City squad that will take to the pitch tomorrow in their next match in the championship. So
Is it an ankle injury?
I believe so. So some worrying concerns for Nicky right now, as Bristol City is at crunch time now. They picked up a 2-0 win over the weekend to stay in the hunt. I'm sorry, no, that they drew 1-1, which, they're in the hunt for that other playoff spot, but they need to keep winning to get themselves right into that mix. And a player like Nicky, an experienced player like Nicky, with him missing, it makes that job a little more difficult. On another note, obviously, there's a lot of people keeping an eye on this, but Dale Eve was back on the bench for Alvechurch and their 1-0 win over Redditch United on Saturday. Dale replaced the other goalkeeper in the match before this one, played the 90 minutes, but then was back on the bench on Saturday. Unfortunately for him, a spectator watching the game. So Madame Butterfield and his House and Town teammates, they continued their impressive run. They defeated Banbury United 1-0. And then a whole bunch of Bermuda players in Razir Smith-Jones, Reece Jones Jr., Courage Fubler, Riley Robinson, McKay Durham, and Remy Cottington, all in the strip for Binfield FC, and they drew 3-3 with South Park on Saturday. Reggie Lamb and his Needham Market teammates, they suffered a 1-0 home defeat to Marine, and Keysai Martin has left his former club and has joined Boxing FC and scored on his debut on Saturday. They won 7-0 over Oxford City. He moved over on Thursday, had one light training session on Friday, and was in the squad. He came off the bench in the, I believe it was the 54th minute. He was only on the field in the 52nd minute. He came off the bench, and 6 minutes later, he would score to start his career there with a goal and a big win. Willie Clemens scored in the 58th minute for Felixstowe and Walton United, but it wasn't enough. They went down 3-2 to Brentwood Town. Justin Dunaway and his Brackley Town teammates, they continued their winning ways, or the winning streak, picking up a 2-0 win over Afferton Town FC. And Harry Twite, once again, was missing from the Loughborough Student FC team. It's been about a month since he hasn't played. It hasn't been in the squad that alone played for Loughborough. So another worrying concern for Bermuda as they play in 2 weeks' time, not Friday coming, but the following Friday at the National Sports Centre. Kane Critchlow featured in Chelmsford's 2-2 draw with Dorking Wonders, and Cole Hall and his Chorley teammates. They orchestrated a remarkable comeback, turning around a 2-goal deficit to win 3-2, defeating Chester, Ode Todd, and Brighton Morrison. Todd and Morrison both play key roles for Sandhurst Town in their 4-1 win over Spelthorne Sports FC, with Morrison getting the scoring a goal for his second consecutive game. He helped them win. He scored in midweek in a 3-1 win, and then scores again this week in a 4-1 win. Then we turn to some coaches. Obviously, Sean Goda and his Aston Villa women's team, they're struggling right now, juggling. Remember when Goda took over as interim coach for Aston Villa's women? They went on a little winning streak, but since it's been replaced, they're struggling for results and even struggling for goals. They lost 2-0 to Manchester City, and ironically, and then
I was hoping you was gonna bring this up. Go ahead.
It was obviously Manchester City is the team that Sean played for and actually started his women's coaching career at, and then has moved over to Aston Villa. But the shocking news today was Manchester City have fired the women's coach.
Yeah, 5 days before a final.
5 days before the final, the women's FA Cup final, not the FA Cup final, it's a League Cup final where they'll face Chelsea. But pretty much, if you listen to the reports and everything, he kind of he's lost the dressing room, and it's one of those things where they had to make a decision quick, because if you keep him and he wins the FA, if he wins the cup, you're almost scenario.
Yep.
Where you're almost obligated to keep him, but if he's lost the dressing room, it makes it that much more difficult by keeping him, and the tension's only going to get worse. So they made the decision to get rid of him. The coach that was in before this guy got the job, he's back in charge because he stayed with the club until the end of the season, and then they'll look for a permanent head coach at the end of the season. So it's ironic because this is the fourth women's coach in English football that has been fired this side of the year.
Wow.
Aston Villa fired their coach, remember, because and then it was Crystal Palace fired their coach, and then I think it was Tottenham fired their coach last week, and now this week you have Manchester City's coach is gone. So it's interesting time because to lose four coaches and Manchester City are fourth. That's amazing, and in the final. But again, if you're losing the dressing room, it makes it that much more difficult for you.
Hopefully in that final, Mia, you get on the
Oh, definitely. We're hoping she gets on the pitch. She's back on the bench. She was on the bench yesterday, in their win. the 1-0 win, so that she spent 290 minutes on the bench, but she's been doing well in training. So it's been it's a bit encouraging. So hopefully they can get a comfortable lead in the final, and she can get some playing time. We'll quickly go to obviously David Bascom and the Baltimore Blast. They're looking to secure a playoff spot, but unfortunately he went down to Harrisburg Heat yesterday, 9-4. They were down 5-0 before halftime, which that's going to also be a struggle to try and get back into the game. But Deshaun Cooper, who works with the Queens Park Rangers women's goalkeepers as well as the youth goalkeepers in the QPR setup, they had a 5-0 victory yesterday against London Seawood FC. And of course, we just mentioned Mia. She was an unused substitute in Chelsea's 1-0 win over Crystal Palace to advance to the FA Cup semi-final. Kenny Thompson and her AFC Bournemouth women's teammates, they continued their winning streak, picked up a 2-0 win over Abingdon in National League football. Kiana Dill and her FC United of Manchester women's teammates, they drew 1-1 with Ellesmere Port Town ladies, and Jasmine Spence and her Newport Paganville Town women's teammates, they secured a 2-1 victory over Cardiff. Aaliyah Nolan, and then these girls, obviously, everybody knows their names because they're part of the women's national team setup, who have important games coming up as well. Aaliyah Nolan plays for Bradford City, and we all remember Bradford City from the time when Nikki Wells played for Bradford City. But Aaliyah's still got that Bermuda flag flying along with Bradford City, and they recorded a 2-0 win over South Shield. Ava Frazzoni and her AFC Sudbury women, they suffered a 3-0 defeat to the London Bees, and Zakiya Turner and her River City women's and girls team were defeated 1-0 by Ashfordby Amateurs First Women's Team. Nia Christopher was an unused sub for Fort Lauderdale United as they drew 1-1 with Tampa Bay. It was Florida Derby and the USL Super League for women in the U.S. And obviously Nia is struggling a bit. She hasn't had much playing time, but hopefully now that she's back on that bench, she can possibly get herself into a few games in the second half of the season and probably put some away and then try to settle down in her career. And of course, Leilani Nisbet, the Chicago Stars, their season will get underway this coming weekend, and they had a little scrimmage over the weekend with Leilani scoring a great goal off our right foot to finish off their preseason. So we'll be looking forward to updating everyone about Leilani, Nia in the U.S., and then all of our other females and males over in the U.K. and anywhere else they're playing.
Can you get an update on Jaden Masters?
She is playing. She's still in school, isn't she?
Yep. But I want to just get an update because some of these names we're talking about, like I said, the women's have they have some they have some games, local games coming up in April.
Yeah, her season's over. The women's football season in schools are over right now.
So as I'm saying, so it'll be interesting how we get some of these players back for the. I think we've got 2 matches coming up in April.
Right.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
But like I said, even with the men, right? Because you had mentioned about Clyde, we've already talked about Lev Rock, and then I saw the interview last night with Coach Finley on. Obviously, we know there's going to be changes. We know that.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. What a time to have these crucial changes to these crucial positions, because even Naki, I mean, even if he does get fit, with the crucial part of Bristol
Bristol
City's
City's run.
season.
Yeah.
They're right now they're on the outside looking into the playoffs.
Right.
Um,
And remember,
so,
he's out of contract at the end of the year.
and it's out of contract.
it's,
So, Lord,
it's time for a business decision, boss.
I, oh, he's back. Hey,
Yeah.
you must have made Sagasa run for it, Earl.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you
Yeah,
now.
we can hear you.
Yeah, my a little technical difficulties. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, all right. At least, like Juggler said, at least you made the run. But
So give me the little spill of last night's show because I had to work and about Michael Finley and that situation.
basically, he said that the team will be announced Tuesday. The squad will be announced Tuesday. There will definitely be some changes for various reasons. Um, and they're looking forward to there'll be quite a few young people brought into the squad. Um, you know, and they're looking to play against us on Friday next week, and then following Tuesday. I don't think there's much more he could say because if you look at it, I mean, as I indicated to Juggler earlier, Naki is still injured. Harry Dwight hasn't played for like a month. Dale Eves played 90 minutes in the last month. But you want these guys to be playing. If they're not playing, then how much help could they be to the national team? We talked last week about when Dante came back and he hadn't been playing, and after 50 minutes he was burnt. As much work as he done, you're just not ready for that again.
Yeah, yeah. You know my outcome. I'm just the player. I, okay. I want to ask this question to both of you, and I'm asking as far as fan perspective. What do you feel about what Bermuda has been and what Bermuda has coming? Because I think the coach has been under for over a year. So what do you think about his performance?
It depends on if the glass is half empty or half full. It's because if you go off of stats or if you go off of what we might have called success plans during the World Cup run, we could definitely say that okay, we've took a step back. This administration has stated that we're going to be in a transition,
Mm.
and their policy is trying to see as many players as possible. Now we can all have our thoughts of way we're playing. I personally doesn't. I don't. Yeah, but that's me personally. I don't know the ins and outs of as far as player availability, training camps, getting these players in. So are they getting the squad that they want to put out on the field? And that goes for both. That goes for not only Finley, but even go back to Kyle, right? A
Mm.
lot of times, most coaches they're probably not even getting the players who they really want to get on the field.
Right.
They just work with them. So, and to answer your question, it probably comes back down to expectations. What we expected to happen after the Gold Cup run, we probably expected an upward, to push on from there.
Yeah.
And we can honestly say, through attrition, through guys getting older, through whatever the case may be, we're not going that way.
Yeah. Well, let me add to that, Juggler, by saying the success we had in that Gold Cup run under Kyle and Ray has put us in a position to face much tougher opposition on a regular basis.
Yep, true.
So since which we've been playing countries that are well above us in the CONCACAF region on a regular basis since that run, which we're as you've seen through the transition and through the aging of our team, the results haven't been what we would have wanted. However, we're now getting that opportunity to play against that higher opposition to see where we need to now achieve and strive towards. It's going to take us, look how long it took us for Kyle to get that group to get to that point, and now to maintain it and then take that next step. It's going to take a little while. But it's in this day and age, everybody wants instant success, and with the microwave, once the light goes out, you can't. We're gonna build towards something. Come next week Friday night, we know it's tough. That team beat us 6-1 with a very strong Bermuda team at the National Sports Center. What, last year before last?
Yeah.
We're facing some tough opposition come next Friday night, and then we still have to go back and play them in there. So if we're successful, I tell you what, if we're successful, then what? We then face even tougher opposition.
Yeah.
And then you're judged by that right away, and everybody wants success. It's almost like this. What our under 17 girls will go through at the end of the month, right? It's going to be a test. But the association and the coaching staff want it to be the new norm. They want to be playing this opposition on a regular basis, but they realize that they have to build towards that to be playing them on a regular basis. They made that stepping stone by getting out of the group, but next time they play in the group, they have to get out of the group again, and they have to keep getting out of the group. That's the progress that we want to continue to make, and that's what we have to look at from the man and for the under 17s as well, under 20s as well. It's constantly getting out of our group to get to this stage that we find ourselves in come next Friday night.
Yeah, and honestly, I also, as well as Bermuda, back then, I guess Bermuda was just was overlooked. No, you can't sleep on Bermuda. You can't sleep on. You can't, like, we would go to before the Gold Cup, and before League A, we would play I'm gonna say Mexico. We play Mexico's C squad instead of Mexico's B or A squad. You see what I'm saying? Now Mexico is saying, you know what? Bermuda's not out here to play around.
Right.
So they have to now come with their guns, which I understand. I get it. Like I said, I do understand. Bermuda is we're fighting above our weight class.
Yeah.
But in order to succeed, success, you have to at least take one run above your weight class.
Well, but that's the progression that we're taking right now. If you look at it, like I indicated, we're constantly fighting against these teams. When we're in the group stages, we're beating the teams we should be beating. We're matching the teams that are just above us, and we're getting to that next round, the next stage, which is everybody keeps talking about, oh, well, back in the day we beat Mexico and we beat USA, and that was before those two countries even put their foot into, but they went back and invested money,
big money.
They put facilities in place. They put all sorts of things in place. We couldn't match that,
and we can't match that.
No,
that's the other thing. We did match it, and we can't match that. It's impossible for us to match it.
Yeah. So that's why they've progressed to where they are, and we are where we are. But the good thing is that FIFA and CONCACAF recognize that everybody they want everybody to grow, and the only way that could happen is if you keep playing. You can't just, back in the day, we played one game every 4 years in these senior men's. The women never haven't had an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
Now, every time you turn, there's a tournament coming up. It's national team duty. Look how many international breaks they have for the men, and look how many international breaks they have for the women. It's international breaks all over the place.
Our success has also helped, played into our detriment too, right?
Yes.
Because of that fact that when you look at what CONCACAF has done as far as showing our players, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which coincides of our players going away to school, going away to professional leagues,
Mm-hmm.
taking contracts. That now deplenishes the time.
Our
We talk about time and training and different things like that here locally.
Mm-hmm.
Training camps in the whole nine. So don't get me wrong. All other major teams, they have the same problem.
Yeah.
They do. Okay. The Canadas, all of them have the same, because the Canada team, how often they're gonna be able to train at home, and all their players are out playing professionally.
But
Right?
the one problem, the one thing that they have in their favor is that they have so many other people trying to make the national sport. So the league is boom.
There you go. And we when you looked at and I looked at the lineup. Look at the lineup in the last Gold Cup game we played.
Mm.
How many players in that lineup are actually a major role in this makeup right now? It ain't many.
No.
It ain't many. So we can't have the same expectations.
Right.
With almost a 60% turnover. Or not just a turnover, but those players who are probably influential are not as influential as they are now.
Yeah, because the aging.
The age, right? Reggie and let's, for the sake of, let's use Reggie and Levrov, right? They're not the same players they were, right?
No.
I still think we're still missing and bless us, bless us soul, but I still missing Asagi, right?
Yeah.
That type of player.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really found a creative midfielder.
Right.
To fill in that. Lili's just coming back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Clemens and things been out of the team.
Yeah.
In and out. So when you look at someone, I don't remember hearing Milan Butterfield in the setup at all in the last year and a half.
Yeah, he hasn't been in Finland's setup, no.
Right. So, and he was a major part of the midfielder, who the midfielder during that run. Right. Yeah. So Dale's, wing backs or fullbacks, they've changed drastically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I get it. I get it. I just, for me, it's the opportunity that these guys are getting, and that's all players want is opportunity.
Opportunity, yeah.
So, are you gonna make everybody happy? No,
not at all.
No. Do I like the style what we're playing right now? Probably no. But then again, is that based on the talent that we have at the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's good for them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know enough to make that, as a fan, obviously we want to see girls.
But we are seeing girls right now, just not for us.
Well, like, hey, hold on, bro. Sorry. Hold on, bro.
You said you want to see girls, I tell you.
I started off saying this here, glass half full, or glass half empty. You're going the empty run. Let's get the glass half full though, please.
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you, I'm literally working on trying to get next week the president of CONCACAF, Mr. Victor Montagliani, to join us. I'm working on that now to see if he's available to join us next Monday night to give us an update on World Cup preparation obviously for CONCACAF region, as well as this year's Gold Cup and many other things that involve Bermuda and the region itself. So I am working towards that. Hopefully,
Well, like I said, one of the biggest things that is just point blank. They've done such a great job of pushing out and exposing the teams around the CONCACAF region, whether it's through the channel, whether watching these games, and mostly every game's being televised. If you go to that site, and you can basically find all the way down to the U17s, right? I'm pretty sure they might even have U14s on there, right? But you can go to that site and watch it. Once upon a time, you just had to read about it, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, and I think I said it last night. Remember, he beat out Larry Musselden to become the president. Of CONCACAF. So, gosh, imagine both of them had the platforms were similar. In rebuilding CONCACAF, and I must say that under Victor, we've seen that growth, and I'm not saying that we wouldn't have seen it under Larry, but we've seen that growth, and for the betterment of countries such as Bermuda and the like, we've seen what's been possible.
I mean, like you said, just with the added competitions, right? It's put a strain. I'm pretty sure it's put a strain on a lot of administrations on getting teams and getting players and travel and kids and all of that. I mean,
a good strain. It's a good strain to hear.
You're exposing more people to a beautiful game we call football. So.
And to take it even one step further, Juggler, look at the amount of people that have gained experience, such as match commissioners.
Yeah.
We have referees now that are traveling. The other side of the football, not just the players on the field, but it's so many more people getting opportunities to get international experience and exposure
around the region. I mean, I tease Shaquita Parsons all the time, but she's constantly getting flown out to the match commissioner in other tournaments.
That's right.
Now with our success with our officials, led by Murray Majors and even Tasha and Clinton and Stephen, they're getting cold. So
next week as well. So
there you go. I'm hoping Tashawn could get back on that list and he can start getting back out there, and then the ones who come in, I believe the little boy, what his name, Saw.
He done the game Saturday night, Boulevard.
I think for him, it's just he's just got to be legal age to go do it.
We got to forge his passport. We got to get something.
Because as soon as he's legal to go, he's going to be going. Which once again, that builds well for the next couple of guys. When you look at Isaiah and some of the other youngsters that are coming through, because even and I was proud to see him, and I'm talking about Isaiah O'Brien. He even still be a part of the last couple of tournaments we had here, whether it was the Bermuda Invitational or the under-17s,
right?
As a fifth official, so at least he's shadowing. The international officials who are coming in, he's shadowing them, right?
Being in the change room, listen to them talk.
All of that
experience, you take
all of that. It all builds well, right? So it's once again, we can only say that when we have these games. So to have these games we're got to be thankful, and I'm hoping next week Friday night that Bermuda understands that no matter what the score is, we still need to go and support our team. This is our team,
without a doubt.
As my boy would say, these are our cousins, okay?
We're all related.
It's our cousin somewhere. That's the answer is by. That's the answer is by.
I'm also hoping that I can get the president of the Bermuda Football Association to indicate what team colors we'll wear or what jerseys we'll wear that night, so the stadium could be full with the jersey, whether it be the pink or the blue.
We just gotta pick a color and just say, hey, wear that color this week. That's all.
Yeah.
And make sure you got enough in stock.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get that, and we'll bring that to everybody over the next few shows of for support of Bermuda next week Friday night. All right.
My boy.
Okay, boss. Have a good night.
Take care, buddy.
Okay.